Let me share a story with you. This was around April of 2021. I just graduated with my bachelor's with like a 65% grade. So I knew I had no shot at anything but the lowest tier colleges for my master's, and I'd been getting rejected from $350 a month jobs. 40,000 rupees a month jobs, I was getting rejected from them. This was the most anxious period of my life. It was at this point when I decided to give the GMAT. If I ended up getting a top tier score, I would be able to compensate for my poor grades all my life. With that knowledge, I decided to give this exam. I still remember the day I decided to do it. It was the first time in months that I saw a sliver of hope, that I thought that maybe it wasn't too late for me. That night, for the first time in months, I had a full night's sleep without waking up drenched in my sweat from having had a nightmare that wasn't too different from what my real life was starting to look like. So, having made this decision, and after a full night's sleep, I wake up the next morning pumped and excited and motivated, ready to compensate, to overcompensate for every mistake that I'd made. 2 hours. I put in 2 hours before going and playing video games for the entire rest of the day. I was at rock bottom, and I was given one chance to redeem myself, and this is what I do. Today I'm chasing 5-year, 10-year goals. Today I'm chasing goals that if I shared with you, you would laugh because of how unreasonable, how stupid they may seem at this point, and I'm chasing those goals as if there's a deadline tomorrow. What's the difference? What's the difference in these two scenarios? What's the difference in what I was doing 3 years ago and what I'm doing now? The difference is in motivation. And in this video, I want to share with you my hack to unlimited motivation. I want to share with you how I keep myself going, how I keep myself working at my 100 day after day after day after day. Let's begin. I'm getting straight to the point, so be ready to take your notes. In any given moment, you have two choices to make. In any given moment, throughout the day, 100 times a day, 1,000 times a day, you have a decision to make between two choices. Either the comfortable choice or the right choice. You wake up in the morning, you have the choice between picking up your phone and starting to scroll Instagram, or leaving your phone behind and going and freshening up and getting an early start to the day. Before even that, you hear your alarm in the morning, you have the choice between getting the fuck up and snoozing the alarm. You've just gotten back from school, from work, you're feeling a little tired, you have the choice between starting up Netflix or getting your ass to the gym. In any given moment, you have the choice between the comfortable choice and the right choice. And as humans, we are predisposed, we are programmed to always want to make the comfortable choice because it feels good. Because in the moment, you get more gratification out of making the comfortable choice. This is the root cause of where you find yourself in life right now. You're not happy with the results you have, you're not happy with how your life looks right now. It's because more often than not, you've gone on to make the comfortable choice in life, the easy choice, the attractive choice. Discipline is making the correct choice despite wanting to make the easy choice. The power of discipline cannot be overstated. But what if, hear me out, what if we could get you to the point where you feel like making the right choice? What if we could get you to the point where your motivation to make the correct choice is greater than your desire to make the comfortable choice? How much easier would life get? How much more fun would things be? And that is exactly where we land ourselves with this video. How do we keep ourselves motivated? How do you consistently make yourself make the correct choice over the comfortable one and actually want to do it? There are two sources of motivation: desire and fear. Desire to get something and fear of getting something, and we leverage them both. Okay, before we go further, I'm gonna need you to do one thing. I'm gonna need you to pause the video for a minute and grab a pen and paper or ready up a Notion page, either of them, but please have these done, have these ready before you continue. We want to make sure that you actually follow through on the exercise, that you actually do it. A lot of the times what can happen is you hear what I'm saying, you like it, and you say, okay, I'll get to it at some point when I feel like it. Before you know it, months have passed you by. I am sharing my secrets with you, okay? These are things that sharing with people makes me good money. I have clients who reach out to me 2, 4, 6 months later and who message me, Sahaj, you'd shared this exercise with me 6 months ago. Oh, I still do it, man. Thank you so much for it. It has changed my life. It has improved my life significantly. Thank you. It's this very exercise that I want to share with you, man. So do us both a favor. I benefit if you get value from this, right? Pause the video right now and continue when you're ready. And I want you to open up a new page and write down the heading, what could life look like 10 years from now? And I want you to go all out with this one. It's a visualization. You look at it as productive daydreaming. Just sit there and imagine, okay, what if every dream, every goal, every fantasy I've ever had came true? What would that life look like? So go into the smallest of details. The kind of car you'd drive, the kind of house you'd live in, the kind of girl you'd have, the trips that you'd go on, the places you'd visit, anything and everything. The tears in your mom's eyes when she says, I'm proud of you. The smile on your dad's face when you buy him his dream car. Go all out, man. Everyone respects you. Everyone looks up to you. People rely on you. You're the man. Your visualization could be all of these things, it could be none of these things. Whatever resonates with you, whatever your dream life is, whatever that when you think of, you're like, man, if this came true, it would be everything. That's the first part. Don't do this yet. Let me share the entire exercise with you and then you can do it all in one go. So you start with this. Now turn over to a new page and write down the same heading once again. What could life look like 10 years from now? And this time I want you to go all out with the worst case visualization, the worst case scenario. Let's say you never get your shit together. Let's say you never end up learning to delay gratification. You never learn to sacrifice the present for the future. What could that life look like? How bad could it get? You're still living in your parents' house. Your dad, he worked a job he hated his whole life and was always just looking forward to the time he would finally be able to retire. But now he's past his retirement age and he's still working because his full-grown son still lives in his house and he has to provide for him. Not only that, you take an allowance. You're not employed, you don't work, you don't have a business, you have no money of your own. You still take an allowance from your parents on top of them supporting you, and you use that money to subscribe to OnlyFans accounts of your favorite porn stars. What else are you gonna do? You're like 40, you have no girlfriend, no attention from any females, no nothing. What else are you gonna do? You spend that money subscribing to these OnlyFans accounts, you spend that money buying points, buying coins in your favorite video games, which you play with kids half your age, and you're up entire nights. Your mom has not had a worry-free day in the past decade because she's constantly worried about what her son possibly amount to in his life. You get to 30, 35 years of age, you're still living in your parents' house, still relying on them, no friends, no girlfriend, no nothing. You meet your friends for holidays, and at any time a friend comes across you, they pity you. They look down upon you and they feel sorry for you. Again, your visualization could be this, it could be something completely different, whatever resonates with you. But what is the worst case scenario that you can imagine? Now, the reason I shared both of these with you before asking you to do them is I didn't want you to start with the happy and then end with the sad. So start with this second one, start with the worst case. In front of the heading, write down in brackets worst case for this one and then write down best case for the other one. Start with the worst case, end with the best case. Do each of them. When you're starting each of these, set a 20-minute timer. And the purpose of this timer is to make sure that you don't stop before the timer runs out. Feel free to go as much beyond it as you want, but do not stop before 20 minutes because less than 20 minutes to visualize and to think out your entire life is way too little. There's this experiment that these scientists did. They took a bunch of rats and they starved them. And they tied their tails to this measuring device to be able to measure the force with which these rats were pulling. And then they put some food that rats like. They put that food a couple of meters away. You would assume that a rat that is starving, that really wants the food, is going to pull with all its might, pull to its capacity to relinquish its hunger. And they did. They pulled with a good amount of force. Then what the scientists did, they whisked in the scent of a cat from behind. And they saw that the force with which all of these rats were pulling, basically doubled. So that is why I started this video by telling you there's two sources of motivation. Desire, so for these rats, the desire to get the food, as well as fear. Fear of the cat getting to them before they got to their food. And that is what we use. There's this beautiful quote that goes, "He who has a strong enough why can overcome almost any how." And that is your why. Your why for what you're building toward, as well as what you're building away from. The future that you want to build for yourself, as well as the future that you're scared you might end up building for yourself. So there is the exercise for you, man. And I promise you, man, you do that, that will do more for you than any amount of discipline can, because you'll actually genuinely want to do the correct thing. So utilize this. One of the most frequent questions I get from clients is, dude, how do I keep myself going? My life looks like this. Right, I have my ups and then I have my downs, and then I push myself and I'm motivated and I'm keeping myself going, but then I relapse. And then this keeps happening. This is what my entire life looks like. I'm telling you, bro, this is the antidote to it. This is the solution. This is the answer to that problem. The protocol: do this exercise, start over with empty pages, do this once a week, and then throughout the week, start every morning just taking a quick read at both of your pages. And again, I would recommend starting with the bad, ending with the good, and let that pump you the fuck up, man. So use this. Take advantage of this protocol, take advantage of your imagination, man, and make your dreams a reality, one day at a time.